Hey, during this video, I'm going to talk about why personal growth, in order to have personal growth, you need to have uncomfortableness in your life, and why that is important to do in your life, to have discomfort for personal growth. And I'll talk a little bit about the benefits of personal growth. So first of all, I'll start off with the benefits of personal growth. Personal growth is basically, well, I guess I'll start off by saying what personal growth is if you didn't already know, but personal growth is basically anything that allows you to grow from the inside out, right? It could be a perspective shift that empowers you, that allows you to go from feeling angry to feeling peaceful. Personal growth could be, going from feeling like you can't speak up in a room, like let's say, for example, like your job, and then practicing how to speak, maybe even coming up with things that you'd like to speak about. Maybe reflecting a little bit on why it's so hard for you to speak up, and then taking like a little tiny baby step action to speak up at your next meeting at work, right? So personal growth is all about your development, but on a very like personal level. So you're developing your strength, or you're developing a weakness, right? Like I could go work out today and it doesn't mean that I'm not fit, but I can make myself even more fit. Or maybe the workout is really more so to challenge my mind, and I'm able to show to myself that I can still do something even though I don't feel like it. That is a form of personal growth, because I'm basically like building a muscle of, I say that I'm gonna do something and I do it, and it's building self-trust. And so personal growth is kind of, sometimes it's invisible to other people. Like someone else might not necessarily notice the personal growth that you've had, right? Because maybe you're the only one that kind of notices some of these things because it's such an internal experience, right? Like maybe you always beat yourself up, and then through certain practices, practicing gratitude and positive self-talk, maybe you get yourself to a point where you're beating yourself up less. And other people may not necessarily notice right away, but over time people would notice that too, because personal growth, it's shown in everything that you do, right? But sometimes it's planting seeds, and those seeds take some time to actually grow into what they're gonna blossom into. So personal growth, I think it's so important for everybody to put some effort into personal growth, because as human beings, I feel like our most authentic self is infinite. And by infinite, I mean that you're able to kind of always find ways to get things done, and you're able to have this mindset that you can accomplish things if you set your mind to it. And I think that is sort of like an infinite type of energy, because in essence, you're not getting stuck. If you end up getting an obstacle, you'll find your way to go beyond that obstacle, even if it means that you just pivot directions because you realize that maybe that direction that you were going is not either worth it, or maybe there's a path to get to the same outcome that has less resistance, and then so in a sense you still get to the same outcome. So in a way, personal growth is being able to have the self-belief that you can essentially do anything that you set your mind to, which a lot of people, as they get older, they lose that ability to believe in themselves, to be able to accomplish things, particularly when it's things that make them very uncomfortable. Because a lot of times people get older and they get really stuck in the comfort zone. For example, someone might stay at the same exact job in the same exact position and do the same exact routines when they get home, and just be completely unhappy, and they're not willing to take any risk and looking for another job. They're too complacent to save up money and to try to, start that side business, or maybe they're in a toxic relationship, and yet they're too afraid to leave that relationship because they've been in it for so long. And that's someone who's has no investment in personal growth, because when you invest in personal growth, basically it has a ripple effect in all areas of your life in some shape or form, right? Like, if we take this person that I'm describing who has a job that they've been at for, let's say, like 10 years, and they don't like it. They're in a relationship that's toxic, and they're not feeling good about it either. If you take this person, but then suddenly they decide, you know what, I want to make a change, and they start with something as simple as a 10-minute meditation right when they wake up. And they do that every single day. They start doing that every single day without a skip, because they're prioritizing it. And if they can't get it done in the morning, they get it done, even in their car. They'll get their meditation done every single day. Well, suddenly now this person starts to fundamentally change from the inside out, because they're practicing meditation. They're bringing awareness to their breath. They're bringing awareness to the present moment. They're starting to realize more about themselves. They're starting to see their life with more clarity. And the more that they meditate, the more comfortable they get into meditation, the more they start to like meditation. Then eventually they can't see their life without meditation. And then once that became easy, then they say, you know what, I'm going to start to journal for 5 minutes. And they start doing that and doing that and doing that every day, the same way they did the meditation. They just made the time. They prioritized the time. Eventually they start falling in love with the process of journaling, because they notice how it's such a powerful anchor in their life. And this person may still be at the same job, at the same toxic relationship, in the same bad habits, but these two new positive habits can literally start to have a ripple effect on every other aspect of their life, to a point where maybe they realize that the reason why their relationship was so toxic was because they themselves were not aware of some of their bad habits that was actually making their partner angry. And through meditation and journaling, they start to become realizing of that. And then they slowly start changing that, because it all started with just starting to meditate for 10 minutes every day. And then they started journaling every day. And then they started to realize, gain the awareness and all that about how they're doing certain things in their relationship. And then they start realizing what they can change. They start slowly but surely changing it. And then their relationship starts getting better. The partner starts supporting them more. And then the husband or the boyfriend starts, really the relationship keeps improving. And then they start working out on top of everything. And then now the relationship's getting better. They're meditating, they're journaling, they're getting healthier. Then suddenly the confidence is starting to build in this person. And then suddenly they start to believe that, you know what, maybe I can change my career path. Maybe I can. And, let me start tucking a little bit of money away. The same way I started meditating for 10 minutes, maybe I could start saving $10 a week. Start $10 a week, $10 a week, $10 a week, and then you got $100. And then he comes up with this idea that he's going to start an eBay store and then get those $100. And he's going to get those $100 and buy, he does a little bit of research, finds out that these very specific t-shirts from Ross or from Marshalls or from TJ Maxx, these very specific t-shirts, that these t-shirts, he can find them at these stores for $5, but you can resell them on eBay for $15. And then when you take out all the transactionary fees, he's making a profit of like $7. And then he starts figuring out this system, and then slowly but surely he ends up actually building a side business through selling, stuff that he buys from Ross and these stores, and then he ends up flipping it on eBay. And he comes up with a side gig, starts profiting average $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month. And then eventually he's able to go from full-time at his job that he doesn't like to part-time. And then he just keeps doing that. And then the eBay thing becomes the main thing. And then now his whole life has literally transformed. And it all just started with implementing one positive habit of meditating for 10 minutes. Wow, I really got into the zone right there. And that's personal growth in a nutshell. And that's why it's so powerful, because you just planting one seed or one positive habit and just consistently watering it over and over and over and over until it becomes second nature, and then keep putting more positive seeds. It's it's literally limitless what a human can accomplish when they're invested into their personal growth. And so I guess if you've made it this far, I encourage you to really think about what is a really small daily habit that I can start building today that is going to benefit my personal growth journey. And I encourage you to do that. And if you don't know what to do, comment down below. Hey, I don't really know what to do. Can you give me some ideas? I'll give you some ideas, right? But really, meditation, journaling, walking for 5 minutes, like literally it can be so simple. Personal growth activities or habits those are some of the basic ones. Meditation, journaling, walking, could be weightlifting. Those are just to name a few. It might be drawing. You might make the habit of drawing every day, and that's got like a lot of benefits for you, a lot of therapeutic benefits, etc. It could be really a lot of different things. You could even just look it up. Like go on your phone and just look up like different positive habits for my overall well-being. And I'm sure you could find a lot of things. So guys, I love you so much. If you made it this far, please make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you tomorrow because I'm making daily videos and posting daily videos like this every single day. I love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.